He was once called the most intelligent player in world football, a man who could see spaces before they even existed, who made 90 minutes look like a walk in the park. He became a World Cup winner, conquered Madrid, lit up the Premier League with his elegance, and then, just as quickly as he rose, he disappeared from the highest level. This is the real story behind the rise and fall of Mesut Özil, a player whose magic could not be denied, whose vision felt like a gift from another world, yet whose journey turned unexpectedly tragic. Mesut Özil's story begins in Gelsenkirchen, Germany, a working-class city built on coal mines and steel. He was the grandson of Turkish immigrants, raised in a humble household where football wasn't just a game, it was an escape, a hope, a dream. From the earliest days, there was something different about him. Kids in his neighborhood loved football, but Özil lived it. He wasn't the loudest, he wasn't the strongest, but when he had the ball, everything changed. Every touch was delicate, controlled, purposeful. Every pass carried meaning. He could disguise a ball in ways that left defenders chasing shadows. Even as a teenager, it was clear, this boy didn't just play football, he painted it. At Schalke, his first professional club, whispers began to spread. This kid sees the game differently. At Werder Bremen, those whispers became headlines. And then came 2010, the World Cup in South Africa. The world had heard of Özil, but now they witnessed him. On the biggest stage, with millions watching, he danced between defenders, created chances out of nothing, and played with a calmness beyond his years. Germany didn't just find a new star, they had found their next maestro. That summer, one of the biggest clubs in history came calling, Real Madrid, and under José Mourinho, Mesut Özil transformed into something even more frightening, the ultimate creator, the assist king. In just 3 seasons at Madrid, he produced an astonishing 81 assists. He turned passing into an art form, and his chemistry with Cristiano Ronaldo was almost telepathic. Even Ronaldo himself admitted, Özil was the player who made me better. And when you watch the highlights, it's hard to argue. Özil didn't need to score. He didn't crave the spotlight. He made others shine brighter than ever before. But in 2013, a shocking twist came. Özil was sold to Arsenal, a move that stunned teammates, fans, and even Ronaldo, who was reportedly furious at the decision. Madrid fans protested in disbelief. Arsenal fans, on the other hand, celebrated as though they had just lifted a trophy. And for a time, Özil delivered on the hype. He brought flair, vision, and unpredictability back to North London. Arsenal suddenly felt alive again. His crowning season came in 2015-16, when he produced 19 Premier League assists, just one short of Thierry Henry's all-time record. Every weekend, the Emirates buzzed with excitement. With Özil on the pitch, Arsenal became more than a team. They became a spectacle. And with him, they lifted 3 FA Cups, finally ending years of frustration. But not everyone saw him as a hero. For every fan who adored his magic, there was a critic who questioned his work rate. Lazy, doesn't track back, disappears in big games. Yet, if you watched him closely, you realized something few understood. Özil played football seconds before anyone else. He was in the future, while everyone else was stuck in the present. Then came the cracks. The World Cup in Russia. Germany crashed out in the group stage, their worst performance in decades. And when the nation searched for someone to blame, they turned to Özil. A photograph of him alongside Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan sparked a political firestorm. Overnight, Özil wasn't just a footballer, he became a symbol, a target, a scapegoat. The abuse was relentless. Accusations of divided loyalties filled headlines. And eventually, he retired from international football altogether, citing racism and disrespect from the German FA. It was a heartbreaking end for a player who had once carried Germany to glory. Back at Arsenal, his club career also began to crumble. Unai Emery couldn't find a place for him. When Mikel Arteta arrived, the situation worsened. Özil was frozen out entirely, left out of the squad, despite being one of the club's highest earners. The explanations never quite made sense. Some said it was tactical. Others believed it was political. That his outspoken defense of the Uyghur Muslims in China upset powerful sponsors and created pressure behind the scenes. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. A player of Özil's quality was being left to rot on the sidelines. By 2021, his Arsenal chapter ended quietly. He returned to Turkey, signing for Fenerbahce, the club he had supported as a boy. The fairy tale, however, never really materialized. Injuries, inconsistency, and disputes with managers meant he never reached the heights of his prime. Later, he joined Istanbul Başakşehir, but by then his body was struggling. And in 2023, at just 34 years old, Mesut Özil announced his retirement from football. So what really happened to Mesut Özil? Was he simply lazy, unwilling to adapt to the modern game? Or was he a misunderstood genius, an artist in an era that no longer valued creativity over work rate? Perhaps it was both. Football has evolved into a world obsessed with pressing, running, and tracking every movement. Özil was different. He wasn't loud. He didn't chase headlines. He didn't care about running 10 kilometers a game. He wanted to create magic in silence. But football doesn't always reward the artists. Sometimes it forgets them. Mesut Özil didn't just play football. He elevated it. Every assist, every disguised pass, every delicate touch was like a brushstroke on a canvas. And while the world moved on, true fans still remember. Because players like him don't come around often. So the question remains, what really ended Özil's career? Was it politics, tactics, or a game that no longer had room for dreamers? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you love stories like this, make sure to subscribe for more.